Hello again, Chris Lee, Chase Robinson of Southeastern 16 here to preview the ReliaQuest Bowl. That is Alabama and Michigan, Tuesday, New Year's Eve, 11 Central on ESPN. Bet Online favors Alabama by about 10.5 with an over-under of 42, 43-ish, making for a predicted final score of Alabama 26, Michigan 16. My model's got Alabama by about a dozen. What does that mean? I have no idea. We know how bowl games go these days. Opt-outs, transfers, all that fun stuff. Chase Robinson, let's get started. What stands out to you in the matchup here?
Yeah, again, a lot of guys missing for both teams. Alabama has quite a few guys that have gone into the portal, including Justice Haynes, running back, a couple of receivers, and Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice. The offensive line is still intact. Jalen Milroe is still there. Ryan Williams is still there. Germie Bernard is still there. So I feel like they have a core of offensive players. Now the defense has taken a little bit of a hit in the portal. And on Michigan side, they have quite a few guys out as well. And they are losing some offensive linemen to the portal and opt-outs. And so I feel like it will balance itself out. I feel like in the guys that are missing, but this is a rematch from what we saw in a college football playoff game last year in the Rose Bowl. This one doesn't mean quite as much, but I think on the fan or in the minds of Alabama, you want to go out and you want to beat Michigan, especially after what happened last year.
Yeah, you can't tell me a football game played in the state of Alabama is ever meaningless. I know this wasn't in the state of Alabama, but you know what I mean. All right, let's talk about Alabama's offense. I'm going to give you some numbers. Again, don't know how much they matter. Alabama averaged 35.5 points a game. Michigan gave up 20.5 on rushing plays. Alabama 5.4 to 4.1 for Michigan's defense. Passing plays 8.1 to 5.6. Sack rates, Alabama a little under 6%. Michigan's defense getting them at a rate under 7%. Turnovers been an issue for Alabama, 2.3%, and Michigan forces them at a 2.0% rate flat. What stands out to you here?
I think in this game, the fact that these guys who could opt out, who could be going to the NFL, have decided to play this game. I think that says a lot about, one, I think they want to go out and beat Michigan, but I think, two, kind of the culture that has been set. Now, this happened a few years ago for Alabama when Bryce Young, Will Anderson, those guys came out when they had a Sugar Bowl game. Again, they weren't in the playoffs. They were in the Sugar Bowl, and these guys wanted to play. I think the same goes this year for guys like Jalen Milroe, who's still making a decision on whether he's going to go to the NFL or come back for another year. But I think with several of these offensive linemen, Parker Brailsford, the center, he says he wants to play. I think that's really good. Tyler Booker is not opting out. He's playing. So I think to have the core of your offensive line back is really going to help in a game like this against Michigan. Jalen Milroe's out there. I mentioned Ryan Williams, Germie Bernard. They're still playing. So I think you have some guys there to throw to. Obviously, Milroe can run the ball as well. So I like Alabama offensively in this game, even with losing a couple receivers, losing Justice Haynes to the transfer portal, losing these guys. You still have a good core of offensive players, including offensive linemen, and I think that will help Alabama tremendously.
Yeah, Michigan's got a lot of talent on defense. I'm interested to see how big of a key Jamarian Miller is here with Haynes in the portal and all those things.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have his time to shine here. Like we saw him share duties with Justice Haynes this year. He has the time now to kind of break loose a little bit. And yeah, I think he'll be a big part of this. And you mentioned Michigan's got some guys, some really good guys defensively. They really didn't. They lost the defensive tackle in a corner to opting out, who are going to play in the NFL. But most of their guys are back defensively. It'll be playing in this game. They didn't really have a lot of guys transfer out of the defensive side of the ball. So Michigan's defense is going to be good, and it's going to be a challenge for Alabama offensively. But I think having the offensive line, I think that's where it really stands out to me to have these guys for Alabama coming back on the offensive line.
Yeah, really talented defense. You can ask Ohio State a little bit about that. All right, we'll flip sides of the matchup. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen, with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to BetOnline today. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Bama's defense, kind of underrated, 17.3 points a game. Michigan's offense struggled a lot of the year, especially at the quarterback position, where it varied from week to week. 22.3 points a game. Rushing plays, Michigan getting 4.8, Alabama giving up 4.4. Passing plays, Michigan getting 4.9 yards on passing plays. That's awful. Sacks factored into that. Alabama giving up 5.3, which is really good. Turnover rate, Alabama's defense forced them 3.3% of the time. That's high. Michigan coughed it up 2.6% of the time through interceptions and fumbles. What stands out to you here, Chase?
Well, I think a big loss. It came out this week. We're recording this on Thursday, December 19th. It came out this week that Malachi Moore will not be playing in this game for Alabama. He has had surgery earlier in the week from an injury, so he's out. You've got some guys who have transferred out on the defensive side of the ball as well for Alabama. Devontae Smith, the corner. Keon Cody, the linebacker, Jaheim Otis, the defensive lineman. Those guys, some pretty big names have transferred out, and so there are some other good players who will step up and be a part of this. Because look, Michigan, again, we saw them be able to move the ball well on Ohio State, which is a good football team. Like, that's the last time we saw Michigan. They beat a really good Ohio State team, and they were able to move the ball, and so. This is interesting to see who will step up, because you have other injuries defensively for Alabama as well. Keon Sabb's been out for a while now, and some of these other guys. So this is going to be crucial for some of these younger guys to step up for Alabama. For some of these guys who are looking for a starting role maybe next year to get in there and make something happen for Alabama defensively. Michigan, when you look at them on the offensive side of the ball, and you read off some of the numbers, they've been able to run. They can utilize the pass some. It doesn't look like their running back Mullings is going to opt out. Donovan Edwards, running back, is. They have their offensive line intact, so. I think this makes for an interesting matchup because of the losses Alabama has defensively.
Yeah. Let's get the picks and why. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Alabama. I think Alabama is the better team here. Really, it depends on, to me, what we get out of Jalen Milroe. Because we have seen him at his absolute best. We've seen him not be able to run and struggle. So which Jalen Milroe is going to be on the field? Which one will we see? That's a question I feel like every time Alabama takes the field this year. So I think it's set up for him to have a good day. I think Alabama wins it. This Michigan team, they've been up and down. Again, the last time we saw them was a win over a good Ohio State team, but I think Alabama's the better team. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide to win.
Yeah, I will too. I think Alabama's still gifted offensively and defensively. I know the season was disappointing, but just the computers still have Alabama as a top 5 team in the country. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but everything would point to Alabama here. All right, we'll be here to wrap these bowl games up after they happen. Best way to get it, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Enable your notifications so you do know. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching and listening to Southeastern 16 presented by BetOnline.